Hey, what's up you guys? It's Liddy once again. It's been such a long time, but I explained through my Instagram and my Facebook that I was in the process of actually moving to my forever home, and that was taking a lot of my time, and that is one of the reasons why I wasn't able to post as often. But now I'm back. I am officially moved in, and now I can actually, spend more time to actually film and put out information, talk to you guys a little bit more, and listen to the things that you want to hear from me. So last week, I wanted to make a video pertaining to something or a topic that a lot of you wanted to hear about. And I made a poll on Instagram where I asked you guys, what do you want to hear about, or what information would you be interested in for my next video? I was about to put that video out the next day, but then I got the flu. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer for my flu to be, over with, and for more people to tell me what they want to hear. And for the most part, a lot of you were stating that you wanted more information about diet and what I was doing. So that's basically what I'm going to be talking about today. Diet and what I'm doing, the things that help, the things that don't help, and what I think diet does for specifically fibromyalgia, but for a lot of chronic illnesses as well. So first and foremost, I don't believe that fibromyalgia is directly related to your diet. I don't think that you get fibromyalgia because you have a bad diet per se. I do think that we have a malabsorption of actual nutrients and things like that, and this is one of the reasons why we must pay attention to our diet so that we can have a more normal life with less flare-ups and overall have a more managed illness, because diet does not cure your illness, but it makes your life livable. So it just betters your quality of life. That's basically where I want to get to. So, because a lot of people, when I mention you really need to pay attention to your diet, they're like, yeah, but that's not the root cause, so why would I do that? Because that's not the reason why I have fibromyalgia, and I want to tackle the main reason why I have fibromyalgia. And the truth is, we don't know 100% what the reason or the root cause for fibromyalgia is. And if we don't know that, then we can't tackle that specifically, but we can try to eat right and give our body the best nutrition possible for it to be able to fight and to be more stable overall. So first and foremost, I want to talk about sugar. And this is a very intense part of the nutrition topic that I'm going to talk about. It's super, it's at the top of my list to talk about, because a lot of people, when I tell them you have to delete processed sugar from your diet, and they have a mini heart attack because they're like, I can't do it. I love sugar. That's my only relief. They have an emotional attachment to sugar, and there's a reason behind that. Now, and I want to make you aware of it so that you know, in the market, most foods have corn syrup or other kinds of sugars, which are the worst kinds of sugars that you could add to things. But I'm not talking about sweet things. I'm talking about salty foods, and basically all foods in the market that are packaged or that are not 100% fresh usually have added sugars to them. And this is super important because sugar acts in the brain similarly to a drug. So when you don't have it, you can get the shakes, you get sweaty, you get irritable, you feel overall really, really bad. So when you pair up someone who has a chronic illness, who regularly feels bad, and you tell them to take out processed sugars or most sugars from their diet, it's really hard because you already feel bad. And by withdrawing from sugar, you're gonna feel worse for a little bit. So it is a hard process, but I wanted to come up here and I tell you that that is a super important process for you to make. And I'm not saying like don't ever have a sweet thing again, or don't ever have cake again and things like that, but I'm trying to make you aware so that things that they don't necessarily need to have sugar, like bread or crackers, saltines and things like that, that shouldn't have sugar. So try to find options in the market that provide for a more healthy, balanced life. If you're into saltines and you love saltines, that's great. You can do that. Just find one that doesn't have added sugars in the market, because you're not gonna miss the sugar. You don't even taste it, but it's there. And that is adding to somewhat of the addiction that sugar is in our lives. So that's one thing to pay attention for, all the ingredients and things that you buy. And secondly, things that a lot of people don't know is that breads and overall flours and things like that, and processed flour, all of that is processed in your body as sugar, like pure sugar. So that shouldn't be the main focus of your life. I will provide, there's a pyramid, because now things have changed. Before, at the bottom, there would be grains and breads, and now that's not there. At the bottom is fruits and vegetables. Vegetables being at the very bottom and fruits being at the top. And vegetables, all the different colors, because all vegetables, depending on their color, they have different antioxidants. So the mass of your intake of food should be different colored vegetables. That's just how it should be. And it's just, I've been doing it for a long time now. And in the beginning, I didn't really believe in it, like to the full extent, because I hadn't seen the benefits of it in the long term. The truth is that you changing your diet for like a month, maybe 2 months, is not really gonna do much. Like, you really have to stick to it, and you really have to be very, very strict with yourself and know that this is something that's gonna help you in the long run. But for some people, they see changes, positive changes right away. But for me, I had to basically go through the detox phase of the sugars, and that was really bad for me. Like, I was getting like the shakes and things like that. And I've never had a particularly bad diet, but I was buying things that had sugar in them that I didn't know that they did. So I had to make the changes. And when my body wasn't getting the normal amount of sugar that it was used to, then there was like the withdrawal period. So basically, what I'm doing is eating more vegetables, or higher in vegetables from different colors, and lower grains, breads, and things like that. Like, I am gluten-free. I try to not eat any kind of processed flour, because it usually doesn't sit right with me. That's for my normal everyday diet. That's what I try to do. Also doing more homemade things. There is the possibility of making fast food at home. Like, I make burgers and I make them at home with meat that I have grinded myself, or that I take like a piece of meat and I ask the person to actually like grind it for me, but I know what kind of meat I'm putting into my body. I try for the meats that I buy to be organic, non-hormonal, or no hormone, or hormone free, however they put it. No additives, no preservatives, no nothing. Like, I try to make everything that I buy the most natural thing that I could possibly put in my body. So that's basically in terms of meats and vegetables and grains and sugar. That's all covered for now. If you have any questions about these topics that I talked about, you can always ask down below and I will answer. I always answer everybody. Like, even if I don't answer right away, I will eventually get to it, and I will give you a reply. And if I don't know, I will research and then I will reply to you. So you'll get an answer from me. And now I wanted to talk about me being vegan. So a lot of people were asking if I was still vegan, and the answer is no. Not to like 100% of the extent. Like, I have a couple of days a week where I abstain from eating animal products just to like detox my body, or in days where I'm in a lot of pain. Usually red meat and things like that elevates that, just so you know. The amount of pain, it elevates the amount of pain, and that's why on those days I don't have it at all. So super important. But I'm gonna explain to you the reason why I had to not be a vegan anymore. Basically, I started being a vegan and I felt really good for the first couple weeks, and then I was hit with not feeling right. Like, there was something not right. My energy dropped dramatically, and I'm talking about like a month in of being vegan. And I was drinking vitamin B supplements and things like that, but it wasn't enough. My doctor, what she told me is that despite me having normal vitamin B levels in my bloodstream, she believes that I don't have the enzyme that absorbs a certain vitamin B substitute that's in the market. And that's the thing that I was drinking. What I was drinking was the actual substitute, not the actual pure form. And I didn't have the enzyme or the protein to actually like break it down. And that happens to a percentage of people in the population. But she went even further than that, and she said that she thought that even though it was that I had normal B vitamin levels in my bloodstream, she thought that molecularly in my cells, it wasn't going into them the proper way. So that was an issue, and she basically told me that a vegan diet was not for me. And I was doing everything that I needed to do. I was eating well. I was not like feeling faint because I wasn't eating. I was eating properly, and I was eating a lot of vegetables. I was eating, beans, a lot of them. I was eating garbanzos, and that provides a lot of protein. But it just wasn't for me. Now, I'm not trying to like say that being a vegan is not possible for other people. Like, I've found that it depends on like your body and what its needs are, that you should decide the diet that feels best for you. And it just didn't work for me particularly, so I decided not to continue with it. And that was like a recommendation from my actual doctor, so I listened to her. And I also got another recommendation from another doctor. So I got 2 different doctors saying the same thing, and I kind of went with it. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have to go back and like, try to do the best that I can with what I have, to work with what I have. And basically the meats that I'm buying are the things that I'm telling you that are organic and that don't have any hormones and don't have any antibiotics and things like that. It's super important. You want to make sure that everything that you're going to put into your body is the best quality possible with the less crap possible, because your body's already dealing with so much. Adding food that has no nutritional value and that puts your body at stress is not good. Like, you really need to pay attention to the food that you're eating. Make a journal. I happen to have issues with memory, and I know a lot of fibromyalgia patients have this, or brain fog. And I wasn't particularly aware of what I was eating until I actually like sat down and wrote it down. So I encourage you to just make a week log of your food, because that week is going to tell you what it is that you're eating. And then from there, you can tweak it. Like, if you like burgers, like, fine, you can have burgers. I'm not telling you can't, but find a healthier substitute. If you eat burgers from a fast food place, making them maybe at home, or finding a burger place that has more natural ingredients, or that offers a more, what do you call this? Just a healthier choice, just by making small little things or small little changes in the things that you're doing every day, you're going to see results. And you don't have to be so, what do you call this? Like, you don't have to be drastic about it. You don't have to, because that's the thing. Like, if you go at it like, okay, I can't have any sugar, I can't have any meat, I can have any this, I can have any, from one day to another, it's just not gonna work. Like, you have to do things slowly and see the things that you are liking, the things that you find that are good for you and that you like and that you overall enjoy more, because you have to make it, the things that you're doing for your diet, you have to make it enjoyable for you. So you have to find a way. Like, if you like soups, then add like 1 billion vegetables to that soup. And then if you like it creamy, then make sure to like process it until it's like the right consistency for you, and add as many vegetables as you can. Maybe add in a starch, like a potato or things like that, to actually make it creamier, so it's just more enjoyable, because food is about textures and flavor and things like that. Add onions and add garlic, add spices, so that you can find comfort in that food. Find recipes online. There's tons of recipes online. And sorry, I know it's hard. It's a little bit easier for me because I particularly enjoy cooking, but I understand that it's not easy for everybody. That's why I am trying to put in here and there options that you can have. Just do your research, know what you're putting into your body, and overall pay attention to what your body is telling you. With time, I have learned that sugar, for example, makes me go into a flare-up. Maybe not tomorrow, but the day after, like 100% sure I'm gonna have a flare-up. And my grandmother often tells me, like, you're programming your body to think like that every time you have that you're gonna feel bad or something. And that's just not the case. It's just that that's something that was recurrent and something that I kind of grabbed onto information. I made a log about the food that I was eating, and then the next day I would write like my symptoms, and they would usually be worse after having sugar or processed sugar. And depending on the amount, it would be worse or less bad. So it depends. Sometimes it would skip a day and I wouldn't feel the effects until 2 days after or something like that, but it was coming. So I always knew that sugar was closely related to me feeling worse. Not having a bad day in general, but just feeling worse than my normal self. So basically that's it, I think. I don't want to make this video like 30 minutes long, which it will be ending up into that because there's just so much information about diet and things like that. But I did want to like make certain points in this video that I thought would be helpful for you guys. And yeah, overall, take it slow, take it a step at a time, listen to your body, write down what your likes are, and just try to make it a little bit healthier. Like, I love chocolate mousse. Like, this is so random, but I love chocolate mousse. And I found that I can make somewhat of a similar consistency mousse with chia seeds and like coconut milk. And that's amazing. So it's just better off. Like, it's just a better alternative. And I can still have my chocolate mousse, and I'll sweeten it with stevia, which is an anti-inflammatory kind of sugar. It's the only sugar substitute that I have, and there's a bunch of studies talking about its benefits. And I actually feel really good after eating that. Like, and I will feel good for the next couple of days. That's why I know like 100% that it's good for me. That's just my experience, and you need to find things that work for you so that you can have the best quality experience with your food as possible, because food is a very important part of our lives. We have food at least 3 times in a day. I know that's not the experience for everybody, but that it's just very present in our lives. So picking better options is always going to be a good thing. Something I forgot before I go is that I don't have any dairy, and I don't have dairy for the most part. I only have goat's milk and goat's milk cheeses and things like that, and that's not always. I will, every once in a while have something that is made out of cow's milk, but for the most part I prefer goat's milk because I just feel like my digestion is better with it. That's just my experience, and usually cow's milk has a lot more hormones and things like that, so just be aware of that. And just do your research, play around with your diet a little bit, try different things, see what really makes you feel better after you eat it. Like I feel really good after eating a good stir fry of vegetables and like a good protein. Like I feel really good, and that's just something that fills me up and makes me feel better. But you need to find things that make you feel better and that overall work for your life and your daily activities, basically. So that's basically it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you found it helpful. I would love for you guys to leave your questions down below, because I'm for sure not covering everything. I'm going from the top of my head, the things that are more important, but I know I can, I could miss out something. So I would love for you guys to leave your questions down below, and I'll answer them as soon as I can. And yeah, if you have any suggestions about next videos, I would love for you to leave them down below as well, so I have like more content or more themes to go off of for my next video. So basically, that's basically it, guys, and I'm hoping all of you are well, and I'm really happy to be back. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.